Hey folks, how you doing? How you doing? Are you doing good? Because, hey, I'm doing good. It's the 16th of April, 2015. How are you? I mean, seriously. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. The sound is a little up. My mic seems to be a little hotter than normal. Okay, let's see. How's that, folks? Little better on that one? All right, there we go. Hey, we got a lot going on today. I don't know what's happening because I haven't seen the news yet. I don't have a TV. I suggest you all get rid of your TVs because why you want to listen to that propaganda? You know what I'm saying? Oh, folks, I don't know. We're supposed to get along, aren't we? I'm serious. Are we not supposed to get along? Just wondering. Just curious. Just want to put that out there. That's your first question of the day. There's going to be a pop quiz at the end of it. So anyway, hey, what can I say? Lots of... How can I put... How can I put this? How can I put this? Military bulletin labels patriot groups militia domestic terrorist. Bulletin claims militia may launch terrorist attacks on Patriots Day. Kit Daniels over at Infowars.com put this out. I'll get more into this after the break. Military bulletin called patriot groups and the militia, quote-unquote, domestic extremists who may launch terrorist attacks, a claim which follows a trend by the government to demonize libertarians and constitutionalists. I'll get into that one after the break. There's... Holder's gun ban list targets veterans. Didn't know that, did you? Kurt Demo over at Infowars.com. Thank you, Kurt. Disarmament of the American people begins with veterans. In 2009, the federal government said in a now infamous right-wing extremism document leaked to Infowars and others, quote, veterans possess combat skills and experience that are attractive to right-wing extremists, unquote, and that the government was concerned these extremists would, quote, attempt to recruit and radicalize returning veterans in order to boost their violent capabilities, unquote. I will get to that one after the break as well. I don't know what to tell you, folks. If you're not awake yet, if I haven't rattled your cage and, got you to see things, then I don't know. Am I doing my job right? Am I doing this whole thing right? Or am I supposed to be an NPR trendy voice speaking person saying that nothing is ever going wrong? No. God, no. If I ever get to that point, put a pillow over my face. Serious. Speaking of which, not a pillow over the face, but speaking of which, lots of things are happening. There are so many. I wanted to get into the chemicals and the products that we have, including sheets, including pillows, including food, including. I only have an hour, folks. Okay, it's only an hour podcast. But I wanted to get into all that. But anyway, you can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio at USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio at USA.com. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com or to my personal website, WayneSPierce.com. For more information, you can contribute to the American Liberty Radio Network if you'd like. Again, email me at AmericanLibertyRadio at USA.com. I shall return right after this. The best in independent books, films, and music. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz promotes and plays original indie music from all around the world. If you've got the internet, you can be heard. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. The reality underneath the honesty. Live Truth Radio with your host, Brian Lang. LiveTruthRadio.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. You can go to my website at waynespearce.com or go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Check that out as well. You can contribute to the American Liberty Radio Network if you want, right there on the website. That would be cool. Thank you. We need all the help we can get, because we're going to the next level, folks. So we're going to need you to help out if you want. It's okay. It's donations. It's not a set price. It's not a club membership. It's not any of that. I can tell you right now, with what you spend on Starbucks every day, yeah, you can give me a hand. If you would, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, anyway, how are you? You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Had a little computer problem and got it fixed, as you can tell. Yeah, you know, I think all these people that are putting out malware and adware and all, I think they should just go to jail. If I'm going to spend my hard-earned tax dollars on something, yeah, put them buttheads in jail. Because, well, you know, they have to make... No. What they're doing is they're screwing up computers. That's their sole purpose. Let's put adware on this piece of software. Let's put it up on the internet. Let's put it in a torrent. Let's put it in... And let's just put a bunch of adware and malware on this. Oh, they want that one thing? They're going to get all this malware. They're going to get all this adware. They don't pass go, don't collect $200, go straight to jail. Okay? But that's my 2 cents. So let's go on to these stories I talked about at the beginning of the show. Sorry, still got this little sinus thing going on. From Infowars.com, from Kit Daniels, Military Bulletin labels Patriot Group's militia domestic terrorist. Bulletin claims militia may launch terrorist attacks on Patriots' Day. A military bulletin called Patriot Groups and the militia, quote-unquote, domestic extremists, who may launch terrorist attacks, and a claim which follows a trend by the government to demonize libertarians and constitutionalists. The bulletin, an email from a U.S. Coast Guard command security officer, which was leaked to InfoWars, lumped militia members and patriots with, quote, white supremacists, unquote, and claimed they may launch terrorist attacks on April 19th because it is, quote-unquote, significant date to domestic extremists. Quote, members of the Patriot and military movement, militia movements, sovereign citizens, and white supremacists recall April 19th. See? Excuse me, didn't mean to do that in your ear. Members of the Patriot and militia movements, sovereign citizens, and white supremacists recall April 19th as the day that the battles of Lexington and Concord started the American Revolution, unquote. The bulletin read, quote, citing incorrectly Title 10 USC, U.S. Code references to, quote, the unorganized militias, unquote, and the constitutional right to bear arms. These groups believe they are legally obligated to oppose the government should it become tyrannical, unquote. That's not what it said. Go look that up. Title 10 U.S. Code. That's not what it says. Homeland, April 19th is a significant day to domestic extremists. Members of the patriot and militia movements, sovereign citizens, and white supremacists recall April 19th as I read. This is in the article right below what I just read. On April 19th, 1993, the 51-day siege at the Branch Davidian compound near Waco, Texas, ended. A fire destroyed the structure after federal agents moved in, and the catalyst for the modern movement. Oh, excuse me. I'm reading ahead of myself. See? I'm not all well today. Haven't had my coffee. It's okay. We still have fun around here at American Liberty Radio Network. That's okay. That's fine. It's it's just fine. Let me start that all over. Take two. Hello. On April 19th, 1993, the 51-day siege at the Branch Davidian compound in Waco ended. Waco, Texas. Remember that? When Janet Reno was... Yeah, you know. A fire destroyed the structure after federal agents moved in, and 76 people, including women and children, were killed. This event was considered the catalyst for the modern movement. In fact, in 1995, a truck bomb destroyed the Alfred P. Murrah building in Oklahoma City, killing 168 people, injuring hundreds. Timothy McVeigh was later convicted and executed for the crime. Terry Nichols was sentenced to life in prison. Both were self-proclaimed members of the Patriot movement and sought revenge against the federal government for the handling of the Waco siege. They hoped to inspire a revolt against what they considered to be a tyrannical federal government. April 20th is also a significant day in domestic extremists and neo-Nazis. Adolf Hitler was born on this day in 1889. It was also the day that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold chose to attack Columbine High School in 1999. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Richmond, California dirty bomb drill 2015. This is where InfoWars went out there, and guess what? They were stopped from filming, okay? They were on the street. They were on public land. They were there, and it was there, and they had the right to do it because not only are they citizens, they're press, but they were stopped from filming. Okay, I'm going to put that article up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. Hey, Walmart's got some things going on, like shutting down 6 stores in some very interesting places, folks. Questions swirl over bizarre Walmart closures. That's on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. Please go check that out if you would, please. Thank you. Also from Infowars.com, Holder's gun ban list targets veterans. Disarmament of American people begins with veterans. Kurt Nimmo over there at Infowars.com posted that today. In 2009, the federal government said in the now infamous right-wing extremism document leaked to Infowars and others that, quote, veterans possess combat skills and experience that are attractive to right-wing extremists, unquote, and that the government was concerned these extremists would, quote, attempt to recruit and radicalize returning veterans in order to boost their violent capabilities, unquote. That is so far from the truth, I just don't know. On Wednesday, the Attorney General was grilled by the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee about a list denying veterans their Second Amendment right under the Constitution. The Justice Department considers the former soldiers on the list to be, quote-unquote, mentally defective. Yeah, folks. Your sons, your daughters, your nephews, your nieces, your husbands, your wives coming back from the war zones, mentally defective. This is what the government is considering them. There are plenty of former and current military coming back who are just fine. Okay? But those that are not so fine need a little bit of help. So please get as much help to them as you can, because you know damn well the government's not going to do anything for them, okay? That's just the way it is. You know this. Quote, "It's disturbing to think that the men and women who dedicated themselves to defending our freedom and values face undue threats to their fundamental Second Amendment rights from the very agency established just to serve them." Unquote. Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley said in a statement Wednesday, quote, a veteran or dependent shouldn't lose their constitutional rights because they need help with bookkeeping, unquote. The Justice Department has worked with the Department of Veterans Affairs to add, quote, a disproportionate number of names, unquote, to the federal gun ban list. Goes through all the numbers and everything, so I'll put that on the Wayne S. Spear Show Facebook page. There's plenty of people coming back that are just fine, folks. But the ones that slip through the crack that aren't so fine, yeah, these are the ones that need help. I really believe that families and friends should go all out to help these people. Because you know damn well the government ain't going to lift a finger to give them any money to do anything. At all. Ever. It took an act of Congress many years ago to repay World War I veterans. Okay? Chances are your family, your great-grandkids are going to see that money. Okay? I mean, you know, in today's, you know, frame of mind. Oh, my great-grandfather went to the Gulf, and he was in Afghanistan and Iraq and 2013. And I don't know, folks. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there, okay? So think about it, folks. Just take a minute, jam all that information into your head, and think about it. You go out. Here, let me help you. Let me prompt you here. You go out, you go to work, you hop in your car, you go to work, you're driving down the road, you see all this stuff, you see people walking around, you see all that, whatever. You see life, right? And life's okay, except when you start seeing the transients. And what I call the shopping cart people on the streets. They got their life in a shopping cart, or they got their life in a backpack that they're carrying on them. You know? And they're on the streets for a reason. Now, according to this story that I read about the veterans being, you know, targeted, because that's what they are. They're targeted by the federal government. To, you know, they're seen as extremists because they have the training and all of that. But did you know that there are veterans on the street? There are veterans on the street. And they are homeless and they need your help. So think about that, folks. Jam that in your head and think about that. As you're driving down the street going to work in your cushy office or your warehouse, or you're going to work to drive truck, or you're going to the classroom to teach kids. I mean, think about that one. We have veterans on the street. And that saddens me. Because here's why. I don't care if you're part of the constitutional militia in the States, or you're current or former military, like myself and my cousins and stuff like that. I believe that every medical, dental, vision, all of that should be absolutely 100% free. Now, of course, somebody's going to say, well, you get what you pay for. So you're not going to get the service that you would if you had a private insurance cover it. Folks, what part of free don't you understand? What part of charitable contributions do you not understand? What part of charity care? Go look that one up. Startpage.com. Charity care. Do you not understand? These people need your help, folks. And don't depend. Well, they got the Veterans Administration. No, they don't. Do you know how corrupt that whole organization is now? Have you seen how corrupt that whole organization has become? My father was in the military from 1947 to 1950. My cousins were in the military. I had a cousin that went to Vietnam. I was a kid. I was probably like 6 when he left. My other cousin was a Marine. Hoorah! I got a niece who was in the Navy. Now she's in the Air National Guard. These veterans and these people need your help, and they need everything right now. So if you know a veteran who's sleeping on the streets or you saw one, wouldn't hurt to give them a hand. I'm just saying. Even the state militia, constitutional militia, who are now, according to Blaine Cooper, there are a lot in Oregon helping a miner keep his land from being stolen by the BLM. So, you going to help out? You going to do what it takes? You going to do... If you don't even take one sign and go out on the street and protest something, why don't you pack up your crap and your backpack and do what you have to do to go up to Oregon and help them out? If you have a truck or a trailer, a little camper trailer, you know, that kind of thing, and you got some barbecue material, you know, like the barbecue grill and all of the stuff, pack that thing up and go up to Oregon and help these people out. Okay? I mean, because they need your help. So enough of that. I'm got to get on to other stories. I've only got an hour, okay? Oh, folks, oh. Here, you know, I mentioned it, but let me read it to you. This is also from Infowars.com. Paul Joseph Watson wrote this, posted it yesterday at Infowars.com. Questions swirl over bizarre Walmart closure. Customers, employees skeptical of claim that quote-unquote plumbing is reason for shutting down 5 stores for 6 months. Let me just highlight some of the things here. Employees were told the same day that they were going to be laid off, prompting questions as to why the repair work was not planned in advance. Director of Public Works James Enriquez said a Walmart in Pico Rivera, California, had not even notified authorities of plumbing problems, despite the fact that the company would be required to pull permits before undertaking extensive work. Okay? Customers reacted to the announcement by expressing their skepticism at the quote-unquote plumbing explanation. I'm going to put this one, I think it's already on the Wayne S. Spear Show Facebook page, but I'm going to put it there again. Well, it is. It's right there. That's where I got it from. Hello. I'm fine. Let's just stay with Infowars, shall we? Now, I'm going to say something. Before I go on to this next article, bloggers compared to ISIS during congressional hearing. Hello. We'll get to that one. But let me say this. I don't care what you think, Alex Jones. I don't care what you think of Infowars.com. It doesn't matter to me. Because the message is clear. Listen to the message. I don't care if Mickey Mouse is delivering it to you. Listen to the message. Go to truthfrequencyradio.com as well. Listen to the archive of the show yesterday for the 15th of April, 2015. And you'll hear myself and Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook talk with Robert Bruce about the Rothschilds, about how occupied this country has become. Now, I don't give a crap what side of the aisle you're on or how you vote. You better wake your asses up and understand that there's one thing that you have not noticed. And that's the fact that the people you voted into office are bending you over and screwing you big time. Okay? So, go from there. Go from there, folks. You can say and do whatever it is you want to do. You have a right to do that. Signs that the elite are feverishly preparing for something big. I'm going to read those after the break. This is all on Infowars.com. You can go right over there and check it out. It's all right there. And if there's anything you want to tell me, even if you disagree with me, the burden of proof is on you, by the way. Prove yourself right. You can email me. And you can ask me anything you like. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. It's that simple. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Nick Tucker mentioned it yesterday on Waking Up the Masses over at truthfrequencyradio.com. Mentioned it yesterday, and I mentioned it too. He had a different way of putting it, but I'll say it this way. If you don't like this country, get the hell out. If you come here to try to make us change for you, get the hell out. If you won't leave, we'll make you leave. You don't like that? I don't care. This is our country, not yours. And that goes for the radical jihadist Muslims. You don't like this country and you want your special rights? No. Jack it, pack it, and leave. Because you ain't got no business being in America. Because I guarantee you, you've just met an immovable object. You don't like it? I'm just trying to save your life by telling you to get out. I don't know, man. There's a lot going on. And we have to be prepared. And when I get as vocal as that and say, get out if you don't like America, folks, I'm pro-legal immigration. Okay? I'm just going to lay that right out there. You come here legally, I'll shake your hand. We'll go to Starbucks, have a coffee, okay? Because I like Starbucks. I don't care how trendy it is. I also like my coffee black, but that's okay. We'll go somewhere. I'll buy you lunch. But if you come here illegally, I'll help you pack. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the website for the network. My personal website is WayneSPierce.com. You can listen to the show there at radio shows and schedules. Check it out. You can also contribute. Thank you very much. Bottom of the hour, going to break. Be back in just a few right here on the American Liberty Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Hold on tight. Get ready.
Whatever the subject you can think of, we talk about it. Come join Diana and Wayne as we discuss whatever it is that is happening in our lives.
Come and listen to Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Check it out on Spreaker.com.
The world as we know it is changing. We must speak out against the tyranny in our country. Stand up, speak out, get involved. Live Truth Radio. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com.
Time to take our republic back, folks. Brian Bonner, the Uncooperative Radio Show host, will tell you how. Join us for the ride of your life. Using humor and the facts, we will expose the news that the lamestream media refuses to report. The Constitution is the solution, and we can prove it. Listen in and find out what it means to be an uncooperative citizen of these United States. You can find our show at uncooperativerradio.com, and we are rebroadcast on redstatetalkradio.com.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast right here on the American Liberty Radio Network. You can email us at americanlibertyradio@usa.com. You can go to americanlibertyradio.weebly.com. I know that sends the search engine optimizers out of their freaking gourd. I know that. Go to americanlibertyradio.weebly.com. Check things out. You can go to my website, waynespearce.com. Contribute to the American Liberty Radio Network there if you'd like. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. You know, this the equipment doesn't pay for itself, okay? I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. But anyway, if you want to contribute, that's fine. I think the best thing that I would like you to do, other than contribute if you can, that's okay too, is share the show. Freedom and liberty is the backbone of the United States of America. Our founding fathers put together a document which protects our God-given rights, and that's just the way it is. We fought and bled and sweat and screamed and cried in the War of Independence to get away from a tyrannical government called the British Empire. And we did what we did to secure the future of mankind in the new continent, later to be renamed the United, small u, States of America. And guess what? I'm pretty sure some of your family was back there. I know mine was. I know that in 1861 through 1865, there was a civil war in the United States, and 3 of my family members were Union soldiers. My hat goes off to them. So we need to understand just what liberty and freedom truly are. What's liberty? You know what that is. What's freedom? You know what that is too. Put those two things together, nobody's going to stop you. Okay? I'm just saying. Anyway, let's go back to Infowars.com, because there was an article there a couple of articles I wanted to read. Bloggers compared to ISIS during congressional hearing. Isn't that wonderful, folks? Isn't it just great? It's wonderful. People who challenge establishment narratives online likened to terrorist organizations. Paul Joseph Watson wrote this, posted it today. Thank you, Paul. Bloggers, conspiracy theorists, and people who challenge establishment narratives on the internet were all linked or all likened to ISIS terrorists during a chilling congressional hearing which took place yesterday. The hearing, hosted by the House Foreign Relations Committee, was titled, quote, Confronting Russia's Weaponization of Information, unquote, and accused Russian state broadcaster RT of weaponizing, quote, conspiracy theories, unquote, to spread propaganda. One of the speakers giving testimony was former RT host Liz Wall, who made a public spectacle of quitting Russian state media last year in an incident managed by neocon James Kirchik, himself a former employee of Radio Free Europe, a state media outlet. Remarking that the internet provided a platform for quote-unquote fringe voices of extremism and extremists, Wall characterized people who challenge establishment narratives as quote-unquote cult. Quote, they mobilize and they feel they're part of some enlightened fight against the establishment. They find a platform to voice their deranged views, unquote, said Wall, referring to comments made in January by U.S. Broadcasting Board of Governors Chief Andrew Lack, who characterized RT as a threat on the same level as ISIS and Boko Haram. Wall said the comparison was justified. Quote, by using the internet to mobilize people that feel displaced, that feel like they've been on the outskirts of society, and give them a place where they can find a sense of belonging and maybe make a difference in their own way, and it's a problem, unquote, she said. This is Liz Wall, former RT reporter. Wall went on to bemoan the fact that conspiracy theorists were, quote, shaping the discussion online, on message boards, on Twitter, on social media, unquote, before asserting that the web had become a beacon of, quote, disinformation, false theories, people that are just trying to make a name for themselves, bloggers and whatever, that have absolutely no accountability for the truth, that are able to rile up a mass amount of people online, unquote. Committee Chairman Ed Royce then proceeded to accuse people on YouTube of using, quote-unquote, raw violence to advance conspiracy theories. Peter Pomerantsev, I believe, I don't know, of the London-based Legatum Institute, followed up by claiming that the conspiracy theories were no longer, quote-unquote, fringe, and were now driving the success of Jean-Marie Le Pen in France, before lamenting that the fact that conspiracy theories were challenging the global order and threatening to undermine global institutions. Well, damn right we are. All these individuals that gave testimony are staunch critics of Russia. Leading Rep. Dana Rohrabacher, Republican of California, to wish, quote, this is what she said, we had at least one other person to balance out this in a way that perhaps could have compared our system to the Russian system to find out where that truth is, just how bad that is, unquote. Beyond inflammatory rhetoric, the real story revolves around the fact that Washington was caught off guard by the rapid growth of RT, with Hillary Clinton and others having acknowledged the fact that the U.S. is, quote-unquote, losing the information war, which is why they are now desperately trying to denigrate the Russian broadcaster. Without a doubt, RT puts out pro-Russian propaganda, but it also broadcasts truth about geopolitical and U.S. foreign policy that Americans will never see on mainstream corporate networks, precisely because those networks are also engaged in propaganda. Let's not call it an information war, even though that's the crux of everything out there, folks. I'm just telling you. Why don't we just call it propaganda war? How about that? Let me go on. There's no mystery behind why RT has become so big. Telling the truth is popular, but because Washington finds it impossible to compete on that basis, it has been forced to resort to ad hominem attacks and ludicrous comparisons to ISIS in a desperate bid to level the playing field. As linguist Noam Chomsky said, quote, "The idea that there should be a network reaching people which does not repeat the U.S. propaganda system is intolerable," unquote, to the U.S. establishment. Paul Joseph Watson wrote that. He's the editor at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. I will put that on the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast, or Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. And the link for the podcast will be up there after the show. Here it is, folks. And I'm going to... I'm going to go to this one aggregate and see what's there because, well, people don't like the place. Former TSA agent unleashed, or I should say, unleashed. Okay. Now, there's just so much stuff here, folks. It's Drudge Report. And there just doesn't seem to be anything that worthwhile. Netanyahu warns of second Holocaust from Iran. Like what? What? I think we knew that, folks. I'm just saying, I think we knew that. But, you know, I don't know, folks. I'm at the point where I feel that people have a mind and they can think. But the problem is that they're stopped because if it seems too logical or too simple or you know, they look at it and they go, "Oh, I can't believe that. That's not the way it is." No, they're in constant state of denial, folks. Russia points fingers at U.S. for Ukraine conflict, and rightly they should. We funded the rebels. Moscow by, I'm not even going to pronounce that name, but Gabriella, thank you. Top Russian officials accused the United States on Thursday seeking political and military dominance and sought to put blame on the West for international security crises, including the conflict in East Ukraine. Evoking Cold War-style rhetoric, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said a drive by the United States and its allies to bring Kiev under or closer to the West was a threat to Moscow and had forced it to react. "Quote unquote, the United States and its allies have crossed all possible lines in their drive to bring Kiev into their orbit. That could not have failed to trigger our reaction." That could not have failed to trigger our reaction. What the hell does that mean? He told an annual security conference in Moscow, echoing his comments. I'm not even going to pronounce these Russian general's name. Sorry. Let me try. Valery Karasimov, chief of the general staff of the Russian armed forces, told the meeting, quote, "Considering themselves the winners of the Cold War, the United States decided to reshape the world to fit its needs. Aiming to complete dominance, Washington stopped taking into account the interest of the other countries and respect international law," unquote. International law. Where did that come from, folks? Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine last March, following what it says was a quote-unquote unconstitutional coup in which street protests toppled the Moscow-allied Ukrainian president in Kiev after he ditched a deal to move closer to the European Union. Yeah, we back those people. Go look it up. Separatist unrest. We back the separatists, folks. Separatist unrest then spread to eastern Russian-speaking regions of Ukraine, where fighting between Kiev troops and pro-Russian rebels has killed over 6,000 people, and the West says Moscow drives the rebellion. Well, it's like you're poking the bear. Of course, Moscow's driving or drives the rebellion because they constantly want their presence into Ukraine. And the rebels are going, no, we want to get out. Diplomacy doesn't work with Russians, okay? I'd like to sit down with President Vladimir Putin and just ask him, do you know what diplomacy is? I'm just curious. Can you just sit down with these people and ask what they want and give it to them? You know? I don't mind. President Vladimir Putin on Thursday repeated Moscow's denial, saying Russian military forces were not in Ukraine and denying that Russia was providing troops and support for the rebels in East Ukraine. No, we were. We were, folks. Oops. I got off of that page. I was going to copy and paste it into the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. Folks, we're now back. The Iron Curtain is slowly going up again. Did you know that? It's slowly going up again. And the unfortunate part is people don't really care. We've got American citizens living in Russia. Did you know that? We got American citizens living in China. We have American citizens living in Mexico. Did you know that? And who's the first people to leave when conflict starts? The embassy calls upon the American people in those countries to leave because it's getting dangerous to live there. Well, duh. Because we're the ones coming in trying to upset the apple cart and take down a government so we can set up another puppet who's going to do things our way. I say that as a collective general sense because Washington, D.C. is behind all of this. Or I should say, they're not behind it, they're the operators of this. But who's behind this is, and it's coming up here in June, I believe, the Bilderberg Group. There it is, folks. That's who's run it, and they have to answer to somebody. So, think about that one. So, speaking of which, I'm going to go here. You're going to hear me typing. Forgive me. A Bilderberg Group members or attendees list 2015. Folks, you can look this up yourself. Startpage.com. Just go there. Catherine Albrecht created the startpage.com. Just go there. That was last year's participants. Report. This is a report from Infowars.com. Dated the 26th of August, 2014. Okay. Report, Bilderberg 2015 location discovered. Now, this could be what happened last year. According to some other sources in the alternative media, the Bilderberg Group was not held in the place that it was last year, that it was held elsewhere, but, but it was reported months before that it was going to be held in the first place, which, in this first area, and it wasn't. It was held someplace else, according to other independent and alternative media outlets. Who's right and who's wrong? Europe will once again host secret elite cabal. Researchers and internet sleuths believe they have already uncovered the location of next year's secretive elite Bilderberg meeting. It is claimed that the 63rd Bilderberg confab, at which prominent political, financial, and business figures will gather, is to be once again held in Europe. The exact location is said to be the Interalpen Hotel Tyrol in the remote 5-star hotel conference center in the Austrian mountains. That's for this year, folks. 2015. This is reported in August. They can move it any place they want. Okay, I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. So that's that one. And globalresearch.ca has confirmed, or has a report from Steve Watson, Paul Joseph Watson's brother, has confirmed that is the place that it will be. This was reported in January of 2015. The location and dates of the forthcoming 2015 gathering of secretive elites under the Bilderberg Group banner has been confirmed. Local police have verified that the conference will take place at the opulent Interalpen Hotel in the Austrian mountains of Telfs. In a press release, the Austrian police revealed that security for the confab will be in operation from June 9th to the 14th. As is usually the custom with Bilderberg, the actual meeting of delegates will take place from Thursday to Sunday of that week, June 11th to the June 14th. The police press release notes that security at the Bilderberg meeting will be part of the same operation as security for much of more public G7 meeting, which is scheduled to take place at the beginning of the same week, 7th and 8th. Well, guess who's part of the Bilderberg Group meeting? At Schloss, there we go, Schloss, Schloss, Elmo, ELMAU. I can't spell today, folks. That's in Bavaria, Germany. Quote, security measures at the G7 summit on the 7th and 8th of June of 2014 in Bavaria, and the Bilderberg conference from 9 to 14 June 2015 in Tyrol were focal points of a briefing by Federal Minister Mag Johanna Mikl-Leitner and representatives of the Minister of Interior and State Police Tyrol on 13th of January 2015 in Vienna. Unquote, the press statement reads. I'm going to put this up there on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. So if you want to go take a look at that, that would be fantastic. Like the page if you would while you're over there. Appreciate that. So let me point something out, folks, because I believe this really has to be said. If you, if you are seeing this from a certain perspective that is not true, that is not refined or redefined, then I think you need to open your eyes a little further. Take your blinders off. Stop listening to your preconceived ideas that you've had all your life and start paying attention. The Bilderberg Group was said by the mainstream media, it's just a group of people getting together trying to figure out what they can do and all. Yeah, they're downplaying it. They're not telling you that the Bilderberg meeting has members, a couple of years ago, a few years back, Bill Gates went. Okay. Peter Thiel of PayPal went. Google CEO Eric Schmidt went. Yeah, come on. Like these people aren't influenced somehow. They get together, they say, here's what we're going to do, and then the heads of the Bilderberg Group are going, really? How about if we do this? Basically what it is that the heads of the Bilderberg Group come together, and then all these other members come together, and the head honchos there are saying, here's what we've got planned. You guys are the experts in these fields. You guys go out and do what we tell you to do. That's pretty much it. Plus they have a party and a bunch of wine and hookers and gay sex and all that. Yeah. What? Did I say that? What? Hey, I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying that's what happens. But anyway. Anyway, folks. So, another question. I asked a question at the beginning of the show. I have another question for you. Since you're out and about and you're in the city and you see what's going on, and you have the finger on the pulse of your area, what makes you think at any given time, what makes you think that everything's going to be okay? Now, I'm not a religious, God-fearing man, but I fear the energies in the universe. And I'll explain that in another podcast. There's one coming up. Actually, I'll explain it in the American Liberty Radio Network audio blog on my website at WayneSPierce.com. There's so much that we have to pay attention to that, number one, we have to decide whether or not we want to accept it. That's the problem. Because of our preconceived ideas, we can't put ourselves in a position to where we can accept much of this going on. And therefore, we misinterpret most of everything we see because of our preconceived ideas. But once you put yourself in that position where you're opened up, you're held accountable for everything you do. Yes, that's why I say email me. Gee, send me some email. Even if you disagree with me. And the fact of the matter is, guess what? You got to hold yourself accountable because of personal responsibility. Okay? I don't care what you do. You can mow a lawn somewhere, and that's your job. You are held at a standard that at some point is going to require you to be held accountable for what you do. Okay? I'm just saying, it's there. My point being, you open your eyes, you understand this stuff, it is your responsibility to get the information out. Okay? So anyway, that's my little tidbit of information there at the end of the show. I want to thank you for listening again. I'll be back tomorrow with the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. You can go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com for more information about the network. And also go to my website. You can hear this podcast there as well at WayneSPierce.com. Click on the radio shows and schedules, and you will listen to that. And also listen to Pete Santilli live right there on my site as well. Pete Santilli of the Guerrilla Media Network, GMN.is. You can listen to him there. Also, let me give a big shout out to the one and only Mr. Brian Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. Live Truth Radio with your host, Brian Lang. And also Nick Tucker over at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. Check him out there as well. Thank you, folks. You guys have been great. I love it. Okay, you guys are awesome. Again, email me. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast right here on the American Liberty Radio Network. Liberty is the road and freedom is the goal.